movie begins by introducing Michael Bryce, a top-tier bodyguard who prides himself on being the best in the business. He is dressed and highly professional, overseeing a meticulously planned operation to protect a Japanese arms dealer, Takeshi Kurosawa. As Michael confidently assures his client of safety, they board a private jet. However, in a shocking twist, Takeshi Kurosawa is suddenly shot in the head through the plane's window. 2 years after his downfall, Michael is reduced to escorting a drugged-up attorney, Seifert, to a meeting. Upon arrival, Seifert, fumbling with papers under a table, scolds Michael for being late. As they leave, Seifert rambles incoherently. Meanwhile, Michael confronts his superior to report that he has neutralized some thugs targeting Seifert and planted explosives in the parking garage. Moments later, the explosives detonate, destroying Seifert's car. In Belarus, President Vladislav Dukhovich confronts Professor Asimov at his cabin, accusing him of betrayal. To make his point, Dukhovich's men bring in Asimov's wife and daughter, and Dukhovich coldly executes them in front of Asimov. Asimov later testified at The Hague about Dukhovich's atrocities. Despite several witnesses speaking out, none have provided the evidence needed to convict Dukhovich. Officials and journalists wonder if anyone will step forward with what's necessary. Outside, protesters demand justice. In prison, Interpol agents approach notorious hitman Darius Kincaid, offering him a deal: testify against Dukhovich in exchange for his wife Sonia's freedom. Darius reluctantly agrees, solely for Sonia's sake. As they prepare to leave, Agent Roussel introduces herself as the leader of the security team. She reassures Darius that every precaution has been taken to keep his involvement secret, but Darius, unimpressed, sarcastically questions their readiness. He headbutts an agent to test their defenses, demanding to be uncuffed and given car keys and weapons. A full team escorts Darius to The Hague, ignoring his jokes along the way. Suddenly, a car bomb goes off, and Dukhovich's men suddenly launch a deadly attack. The ambush kills all the agents except Darius and Roussel. Darius frees himself, fights off the attackers despite being shot in the leg, and starts to walk away. Amelia follows, and they escape together after Darius insists that they need to move. On the move, Darius suggests that someone within Interpol must be working for Dukhovich, which is how the ambushers knew their route. Amelia decides to take him to a safe house and makes a call to Michael, whom she used to date. She tersely informs him that she's sending an address in Coventry and needs him to bring 3 units of O-negative blood. Michael responds sarcastically, but Amelia is in no mood for banter. She demands his help, making it clear that she's not offering a choice. When Michael tries to refuse, she threatens to expose him and his work to Interpol, jeopardizing his chance to regain his status. Reluctantly, Michael agrees. While Darius was on the phone with his wife, Sonia, he repeatedly apologized for her arrest as he painfully removed a bullet from his leg. He promised he will get her out of prison as soon as possible. In an attempt to comfort her, Sonia asked him to sing for her. Darius complied, but their call was abruptly cut off, leading to Sonia smashing the phone in frustration. Meanwhile, Michael arrives at the safe house to meet with Amelia. The tension between them quickly rises as Michael accuses her of being the reason for his demotion, reminding her of the one time he broke his own rule and revealed his client's name, Kurosawa, only to have it cost him his career. Amelia, however, firmly denies any involvement. When Michael realizes that Amelia expects him to handle Darius, things quickly escalate between the two men. They have a history of clashes, and once again, a fight breaks out. In the middle of the brawl, Darius pulls a gun on Michael, but suddenly collapses due to blood loss, ending the confrontation. Assistant Director Foucher, while discussing plans with one of Dukhovich's men, is revealed to be the mole. Foucher demands his payment, having fulfilled his part of the deal, but instead of getting his money, Dukhovich stabs him in the hand. Dukhovich coldly informs Foucher that he will be paid in full only once Darius is dead. Back at the safe house, Amelia prepares a blood transfusion for Darius. She and Michael come to an agreement to escort Darius, realizing that there's a mole within Interpol. Amelia promises to help Michael get his old job back, and with that assurance, he agrees to cooperate. Afterward, Amelia departs. Once she's gone, the phone rings, and Michael notices police cars approaching the safe house. Meanwhile, Dukhovich, having received the safe house location from Foucher, dispatches his top henchmen to finish the job. Michael and Darius, now left alone, are confronted by the henchmen as they attempt to leave. The two of them manage to overpower their attacker and escape by jumping from the building, eventually making their way to Michael's car. Back at Interpol, Amelia faces an interrogation. Casoria sternly instructs her to surrender her badge and weapon and leave the premises. Foucher, putting on a facade of sympathy, inquires about Michael before secretly calling Dukovic to provide him with the license plate number of Michael's car. Realizing they could be tracked through the car's plates, Darius and Michael decide to steal another vehicle and switch cars to throw off any pursuers. Meanwhile, Interpol agents visit Sonia, hoping to get information about Darius's whereabouts. Sonia, however, accuses them of losing her husband, but they insist they're trying to keep him safe. She laughs, confident that no one can harm Darius.
No one in this world can kill Darius Kincaid.
Dukovic's men soon arrive at the location where Michael and Darius abandoned their car. Finding it empty, they head to a nearby motel where they intimidate the staff into handing over the surveillance footage. On their way to the Hog, Darius asks Michael to pull over so he can pee. Seizing the opportunity, Darius tries to steal the car, but Michael catches him in the act and quickly holds a gun to his head, stopping him. Just as tensions rise, a group of Dukovic's men suddenly appear and open fire on them. In the ensuing shootout, they manage to take out the attackers, but their car catches fire. The bullets stored in the back of the car ignite, causing an explosion that destroys the other van in the process. After the dust settles, Michael notices a cell phone in Darius's possession and confronts him. Darius casually admits he took it off a dead mercenary. Frustrated, Michael explains that this is how they were tracked, pointing out that while he carefully planned their route, Darius unknowingly carried a phone. After their argument, they continue walking. Darius, curious, probes into Michael's relationship with Amelia and then shares how he met Sonia. He recalls seeing her as a waitress in a bar where she took down a group of thugs, making him fall in love with her strength and fearlessness. Eventually, they hitch a ride with a group of nuns. Later on a ship to Amsterdam, Michael questions whether Darius sees himself as a good person. Darius reveals his start as a hitman began as a teenager, where he avenged his father's murder, setting him on this current path. When they arrive in Amsterdam, they go to Michael's house. Darius spots a photo of Michael with Amelia and teases him as usual. Back at the courthouse, Amelia is upset because Michael hasn't shown up. When he finally calls, she expects an explanation, but is instead told that he forgives her, which infuriates her further. Meanwhile, Michael discovers Darius has escaped. Darius buys a flower and is quickly spotted by Michael, who gives chase as Ivan and his men close in. Michael takes down a few thugs before catching up with Darius, and they argue again. Darius insists on delivering the flowers to Sonia, while Michael reflects on his past with a client named Kurosawa, believing Amelia exposed him. Darius then reveals he was the one who killed Kurosawa, having taken the shot by chance. This revelation enrages Michael, who punches Darius and storms off, declaring that they're done. Michael retreats to an outdoor bar, trying to distance himself from the chaos. Meanwhile, Darius is ambushed by more of Dukovic's men, sparking a violent chase through the streets. Gunfire erupts, and cars crash as mayhem unfolds. Michael initially tries to stay out of it, but ultimately decides to help Darius. He grabs a motorcycle and speeds through the streets to take down the attackers, while Darius commandeers a motorboat. At one point, a thug nearly blows Darius up with a grenade launcher, but Michael intervenes just in time. However, as Michael watches Darius from the motorbike, Ivan, one of Dukovic's henchmen, crashes into him with a car, capturing him in the process. Michael is taken to an interrogator named Goran, who, along with other men, subjects him to brutal torture using a wet rag and spark plugs, trying to enforce him to reveal Darius's location. Just as the situation becomes dire, Darius arrives and electrocutes Goran, killing the other thugs as well. The two manage to escape and make it to a car. As they drive, Darius offers a rare apology for killing Michael's client. In an effort to ease the tension, he asks how Michael and Amelia first met. Michael recounts that their paths crossed at a chaotic funeral, where Interpol's mishandling led to an attack. Amid the chaos, he and Amelia collided, and that unexpected moment sparked the beginning of their connection. On their way to the Hog, Michael tries to call Amelia to apologize for his past behavior and admits that he was at fault for the relationship falling apart. Suddenly, Ivan and his men catch up to Michael and Darius, launching another high-speed chase. As they race down the road, Darius crashes the car, sending Michael flying out. Despite the crash, Darius manages to outmaneuver their pursuers, with one of the henchmen's cars flying off the highway and getting demolished by a truck. Meanwhile, Michael finds himself chased into a restaurant kitchen by Ivan and several other men. In a tense and brutal fight, Michael takes down the attackers one by one. Ivan eventually catches up, and after a fierce struggle, Michael wraps a chain around Ivan's neck, holding him down just long enough to shoot him dead. As the deadline for the witness testimony draws near, the case against Dukovic is on the brink of being dismissed. Just in time, Michael and Darius arrive at the courthouse, Darius prepared to testify. On the stand, Darius reveals that his real name is Evans, a name he took to distance himself from his abusive stepfather. He recounts how Dukovic once tried to hire him to wipe out an entire village, but Darius refused the job because he doesn't kill innocent people. To seal Dukovic's fate, Darius presents damning evidence, photos of Dukovic personally executing villagers and disposing of their bodies in ditches. As the evidence is presented, Gene Foucher, realizing the case is lost, quietly leaves the courtroom. Amelia notices and follows him. Meanwhile, Dukovic, realizing his guilt has been exposed, stands and admits to his crimes. As authorities move in to arrest him, Dukovic initiates a backup plan. A truck filled with explosives rams into the hog and detonates, causing chaos. In the midst of the explosion, Dukovic pulls out a gun and aims at Darius, but Michael jumps in, taking the bullet meant for him. Despite being wounded, Michael urges Darius to go after Dukovic, who is attempting to escape with his men. At the same time, Amelia chases after Foucher, who tries to flee after being exposed as a traitor. In a tense confrontation, Foucher attempts to kill Amelia, but Michael arrives in time to shoot him, saving her life. Meanwhile, Darius brings down a helicopter sent to rescue Dukovic, causing it to crash. Cornered and knowing his end is near, Dukovic taunts Darius, saying that killing him won't change who Darius is. Darius, however, laughs and tells him that this is payback for Michael getting shot. He then kicks Dukovic off a ledge, sending him plummeting onto a car below. As the dust settles, Michael is wheeled away for medical treatment, thanking Darius and making amends with Amelia. Darius, in turn, is promised that Sonia will be released in exchange for his cooperation, and he agrees to be taken into custody. In the final moments of the movie, Darius has escaped from prison and taken Sonia to the bar where they first met. Chaos unfolds around them, with fights breaking out and a man running around on fire. But Darius and Sonia remain unfazed, enjoying a slow dance together. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.